Welcome back to another episode of The Psychologist is In.
What can I do, Foster?
Mix. Mix fit mix.
I am your mother.
Be silent!
You understand?
So, this case was suggested to me by my brother Rick, my other co-host, and the movie that he suggested, well, I was not a fan of it the first time around. After this one, I'm a little bit changed because I originally thought that he was trying to punish me. As I said, was not a fan of this movie, but I'm glad he suggested it because looking this movie in a psychological way helps you pretty much see the movie a different way. The case that I'm going to be evaluating is the 2021 movie from James Wan, Malignant. This movie was bonkers. As I said, I think Rick was trying to be funny because when you finish this episode, go ahead and check out our review of Malignant. I'm gonna have a little something at the end of this episode regarding it. But again, this was selected to be by Rick, so good choice, Rick. The movie stars Annabelle Wallace as Madison Lake Mitchell. And our character Madison, well, what disorder does she suffer from? Now, while she doesn't speak to a psychologist, some of these I'm kind of assuming based on what you saw in the movie. So, there's dissociative amnesia, dissociative identity disorder, and she could possibly have also been suffering from bipolar disorder. What is this movie about? Well, it's kind of hard to really explain it, because as I said, this is a bonkers nuts movie. Madison is pregnant, which I think is her third baby. She has lost babies in the past. And there's an incident that happens in the movie with her boyfriend that pretty much gets the ball rolling as far as everything that starts to happen. Madison starts to see visions of people getting killed. And eventually you start to realize why she is having these visions. Madison looks like she's experiencing night terrors because when she starts seeing these visions, well, eventually the visions that she's having is of her brother Gabriel. As Gabriel is committing the murders, Madison ends up being a witness and is kind of standing there in a frozen state, witnessing people brutally being killed. Trying not to give too much of this movie because giving some of the reveals will ruin it. Somehow, Gabriel and Madison have a psychic link. And during this psychic link, that is when Madison is able to watch as Gabriel is killing people. There is something kind of mentioned in the movie that happens to Madison when Gabriel is in a psychic link with her. When Gabriel and Madison are in this link, he puts her in a dissociative state, which is why she sits there frozen. This is where it's somewhat implied that she's experiencing dissociative amnesia. It could also be dissociative identity disorder, kind of, depending on which way you're going to look at the movie. So again, truly, I don't try to discuss much of the movies in this. This one I have to keep a lot of details in because I don't want to spoil it for you. So, is this movie psychological or horror? While there are some psychological aspects in this movie, a lot of more of the other elements make it a horror. And as I said before, when I reviewed it, I kind of reviewed it low. Well, I'm gonna add 1 star to whatever that review was. When you watch it and you get to the end, you hear my score, just add 1 more star to that one. So this movie is horror. The stuff that Gabriel does in this movie, it's straight horror. The psychological is the manipulation of Madison. But other than that, once you see the reveals, you'll understand why this movie here, it's all horror. So let me know, what do you think? Do you think this movie was horror or psychological? Leave me a message in the comment section. While you're there, if there's another movie that you want me to determine whether psychological or horror, go ahead and leave in the comments section so I can put it on my list for future episodes. Keeping with that, the next one is also a request and it's from my brother JR. And that movie is called Be My Cat. It's gonna be the first time I'm gonna watch this one. I think it's gonna require 2 watches from what I'm understanding. And with that, thank you for joining me on this episode's case. Until then, I'll see you on my next case.